Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on React Native. So in this video, we'll be implementing the Clerk Authentication. That is, we'll be exploring about how to, implement the Google sign-in as well as sign in with email and password. So if you find this interesting, please hit the like button and do subscribe for more such content. So let's get started. So we'll be implementing, as I said, both the things, that is how to sign in with normal email password method as well as how to sign in with Google using the Clerk based authentication. So it's pretty simple. So let's implement all of these things. So initially I've already written down some code, that is the boilerplate code. I'll be explaining what exactly is done. So in the package.json, I've just basically, initialized and installed the React navigation setup, and I've just created a basic expo project with TypeScript. Okay. And also I have just initialized the native vent for the styling part. Okay. So I've created a bunch of folders. One is for navigation, one is for your screens, and yeah, pretty much that's it. So you can actually set this up. I'll be showing you the code for tab navigation. So this basically contains two tabs, as you can see, your home tab as well as the profile tab, and just try to install the React navigation package and you should be able to see this working absolutely fine. Okay, as you can see, we have two tabs, and furthermore we have basically nothing in the home screen, just a text rate of 500, and even the profile, it's basically empty itself. Okay, so I've already styled out my sign in screen as well as the sign up screen. So it's pretty simple, you can take a look at it. So we basically have for the sign in screen two input fields. One is for your email address, your password, and continue. Okay, and if you don't have an account, navigate to the sign up. This is sign up screen. I'll be basically sharing the code, you can take a look at it. So for this, again, we have something simple, two text inputs. If there is any error, show the error. Two touchable opacities, one is for continue once after entering all of these details, and one is for if you already have an account, then sign in. Okay, this is basically for navigating between sign in as well as the sign up screen. Pretty simple as of now. Okay, let's try to implement the Clerk based authentication. So let's first of all integrate that into this particular project. So let's head over to Chrome over here. I've already opened up the documentations, or basically the tabs, so you can take a look at it. So you can come over to this particular link, that is clerk.com/docs/quick starts. Choose Expo over there because we're using Expo. Okay, so let's just follow along these steps and then let's try to implement it. So the first step is to install Clerk Expo. Copy that code, come back to your terminal over here, and let's try to install that. So after that's done, we need to set up your Clerk API keys. Okay, so we need to add in your Clerk publishable key to your .env file. Just copy this piece of code, and let's say you create a env file at the root level. I'm going to say .env and then paste it over here, save. Okay, so once this is done, we need to add in the Clerk provider. I'll be telling where exactly to get this. You can actually directly press on the API keys over here. Okay, so there you go. This is my Clerk publishable key. You can copy this down. So it says basically you can, safely share this key with anyone. Okay, and it does not need to be kept as a secret, right? And this key should be used in your front-end code, that is within the Clerk provider. And this is my secret key that I've created. So make sure you come into your Clerk basically. So let's say you go on to Clerk and go into the first link, let's say dashboard. This would show all of the apps that you have created, right? So let's say you want to create a new app. You're going to say create application. So choose in two things for now, that is email as well as the Google, because we are working with these two providers. Okay, press on create application. So this would again take you to a new page where all of the steps are given. So before that, just choose Expo as the framework that you're going to use to configure this, right? That's it. I've created already my project, so I'm going to use the same publishable key. Yeah, so there you go. Over here, my project is selected. So for that particular project, you're going to have your publishable key. So just make sure you note this down. Okay, apart from that, let's come back over here. Yeah, so this is the one. So once we are done with your publishable key, the next step is, as I said, we need to add in the Clerk provider to your root layout, right? So basically this component provides, session as well as the user context to your Clerk's hooks. Okay, so let's implement that. So let's come back over here and right into our app.tsx, we're going to implement we're going to add in the Clerk provider within the navigation container. So here I'm going to say clerk provider, import that from expo, and over here just wrap it around and add in the remaining ones. So this clerk provider is going to take in two things. That is a publishable key. So here I'm going to say publishable key. You can get in your key from this particular link, this one, copy that down and paste it over here. So next step, we need to also initialize something known as the token cache. That's the next step. So as you can see, configure the token cache. So basically what happens is your clerk stores the active user session in the memory by default. So for that, we need to use the expo secure store, since we are building with the expo framework. So we need to install expo first. I mean, not expo, your expo secure store. Copy that down, come back over here, add in that package. I'm going to write a function over here that is for my token cache. I'm going to say const token cache is going to be equals to a normal object. We're going to have two methods. Get token key is going to be of type string. Okay, here I'm going to have my try and then catch block, catch of error. Here I'm going to say return null. Okay, within the try block, I'm going to say return await secure store dot get item async of your key. So we need to import your secure store from your expo secure store. So it's pretty simple. I'm going to say import star as your secure store from expo secure store. Okay, that part is done. Let's add a comma. Let's write in your second object, second function basically. So I'm going to say async save token. This in turn is going to take in two things, key of string and then value also of type string. Alright, here again similarly try catch block, catch of error. We're just going to return nothing, so just say return semicolon. Here I'm going to say return await secure store dot your set item async of your key comma value. Right, this is done. So just pass in that particular token cache over here. Okay, so here we're going to say token cache is going to be equals to your token cache. Okay, let's write that properly. So token cache, save. So as you can see, that step is done. So basically we need to wrap over here. This part is done. So they're using slot. That is basically if you're using your expo router. In our case, it's normal. So we're going to just use the clerk provider. The next step is add in the sign in sign up pages, which is already done. So yeah, this part is done. Let's try to implement the functionalities. I think there are some issues. Let's try to reload once. Let's check it out. All right, so it says unable to resolve clerk shared error. Not sure why is that the case. So let's come back to package.json. Okay, let's try to have in this version because that's what I used in the previous project. Let's try to do yarn so it gets updated. Let's try to cut the server and then let's try to reload and let's see if at all we get that error again. And furthermore, we can look into the issue. So let's press on I. Alright, so that issue is gone. So make sure you choose this version because this is the version I used in my previous project while building it up, right? So yeah, it says expo web browser is not defined. Let's try to install that. I'm going to say expo web browser. We also need to install something known as the auth session. So first of all, let's do this. Copy that code and then add it over here. The next thing is expo auth session. Just initialize this as well, along with expo crypto as well. So enter. And one final error it should give is related to the React DOM. If I reload, it should show that. Let's try to reload. Okay, there you go. Some error related to the React DOM because once when we install the clerk packages, it also includes something related to the React DOM, which is currently not present. So let's try to install that. So just simply say yarn add react dom and then enter. Let's reload, and boom, we are correctly coming into the home screen, and we have set up or integrated the clerk part over here. Okay, which is good. So let's come back to the root navigator. Here we need to configure some things. So here I'm going to say const, I'm going to say get in the is loaded as well as is signed in from clerk. Okay, it's going to be equals to use auth. Import that from clerk expo. Here I'm going to say if not of is loaded, then just show some loading screen. I'm directly going to say return a view. Within the view, I'm going to have a activity indicator. This in turn is going to have a size which says large, and we're going to have color which is going to say a random color ff5722. Let's pass on some basic styling over here. Flex of 1, justify center, and then align items of center. So it shows at the center part of the screen. And over here within the return block, I'm going to have my stack.navigator. So I'm going to say stack dot, not this, stack.navigator. I don't think stack is initialized. Yeah, let's have that initialized. I'm going to say const stack is going to be equals to create native stack navigator. Just try to import this from this particular package. Okay, so here we can make use of that. So here, according to the condition, we're going to write the implementation of the code. So here I'm going to say if is signed in, then in this case we need to show the home screen because the user is logged in. Else we're going to show the other screens, that is sign up or sign in. For that I'm going to make use of the stack.group method. Okay, not navigator, group. Here it is going to be stack dot screen. So here we're going to say name is going to be equals to main, and your component is going to be equals to your tab navigator, which contains these two tabs, home and profile. Here I'm going to add in two things, two screens, sign up as well as sign in. Import these two from the screens folder. Format once, and then let's try to save. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's try to render the root navigator instead of the tab navigator that's present over here. So I'm going to say root, save. We should be seeing the login screen. Okay, not sure why it is not being shown. Okay, not sure why it is actually not showing the sign up or sign in screen. Let's come back to root navigator over here. And here I'm going to give in, screen options, header shown is going to be false. Save. Let's try to reload. Okay, so for some reason, the user is logged in because I just worked on a project previously and I'm using the same publishable key. So let's do one thing. Let's try to, create a new project. So I'm going to say new project over here, and then yeah, you can give my application and just press on create application. Make sure to choose expo, and now let's try to get in the publishable key for the my application. And boom, there you go, that was issue. So I just worked on some other project previously using that particular same publishable key. Okay, for some reason I had tried to log in the user and did not delete it. Probably because of that it was tracking that user and it was already signed in. So make sure to create a new key it should work as expected. So now even if I reload, you should be seeing the same kind of screen. Okay, that's good. Let's try to implement the functionalities, that is initially sign up. So let's go to sign up over here. Here let's get in two things again. I'm going to say const is loaded, comma your sign up, comma your set active is going to be equals to use sign up. Import that from Clerk Expo. Okay, so here let's try to initialize on press event on the sign up. Okay, this is sign up screen. Okay, here let's try to initialize the on press basically on your continue button. So we're going to say on sign up press. Over here I'm going to say on press, it's going to be equals to on sign up press. Let's try to define the function. I'm going to say const on sign up press is going to be equals to async function. First of all, I'm going to check if at all it's not loaded, then directly try to return from the function. So if not is loaded, then try to return. You can actually check out the docs, it's given properly, how to configure the sign up as well as the sign in process. So I'm going to say try and then catch block, catch of error. Here I'm going to say console.log error, that particular error message, and I'm going to say set the error to be of error dot errors of 0 dot message, or basically hard coded value which says sign up failed. Within try block I'm going to initialize my sign up functionality. I'm going to say await, include that sign up dot have the create method. This in turn is going to take in two things, your email address as well as your password. Okay, once that is done, I'm going to say await sign up dot, there is something known as prepare email address verification. This in turn is going to take in the strategy, it's going to be equals to email code because we need to verify that particular email. After that we also need a state to handle the verification. I'm going to say const pending verification, comma set pending verification is going to be equals to use state initially false. Okay, so here we're going to say after this set pending verification to be of true. So let's write that condition, that is if pending verification is true, then directly show this particular design. Okay, we need the access to state, that is for code. I'm going to say const code comma set code is going to be equals to use state initially an empty string. All right, so there you go, it's working fine. So here is basically a text input and a text which says verify your email, and this is the touchable opacity to verify. We have this function to define, let's do that. So I'm going to say const on verify press is going to be equals to async function Alright, so here first of all I'm going to say if not is loaded, then directly try to return from the function. Again having your try catch block, so catch of error, I'm just going to say console.log of error, that particular error message. Okay, within the try block I'm going to say const sign up attempt is going to be equals to await access to sign up dot, we're going to say attempt email address verification. This in turn is going to take in the code that the user is written or entered. Apart from this, I'm going to say if my sign up attempt dot the status is going to be equals to completed, then this means the code is correct. Then we're going to set the active session for the user. For that I'm going to say await set active to be of session, and here I'm going to say sign in attempt dot create session ID for this particular user. That's it. Else I'm just going to add in these two messages which says console.log verification is incomplete and then that particular error, and set the error which says verification incomplete and then please try again. Let's try to save the file. So this is basically your complete implementation for sign up as well as signing in. I mean, just sign up with your Clerk authentication, that is using your email or password. So let's make the change over here. So yeah, so nothing over here. Let's try to implement this. I'm gonna say sign up, enter email, password, and then continue. Okay, it says password must be 8 characters or more. So let's add in that value. And let's actually remove the error from this part. Continue. There you go. Verify your email. That worked fine. Let me just check my email and then enter the code. Yeah, so I did get the code. So it's going to be equals to 962309. Verify. And boom. So we are verified. We have created the user and we are directly navigated to the home screen. Now, even if you reload, this obviously manages the session and we should be seeing the home screen again or the main tab again. There you go. It's working absolutely fine. So this part is done. Let's quickly implement the logout in the profile and then let's switch back to the Google authentication using Clerk. So let's come back to profile screen. I'm just going to have a pressable. Within this, we're going to have a text which says logout. Save. Let's try to implement this properly. Okay, so we're going to get in two things, that is sign out from use Clerk. I'm going to say const sign out is going to be equals to use Clerk. And yeah, here we're going to have an on press. Taking a function, this is going to say, let's say sign out or handle sign out. You can give any function name you want to add. I'm going to say handle sign out. So here I'm going to say const handle sign out is going to be equals to async function. It's going to be super simple. Just try to call the function, nothing much. So try and catch of error, console.log error with that particular error, and your try block. I'm just going to say await sign out. Save, log out, and there you go. We are logged out. There is no session as of now. Let's try to reload. We should be able to see the login screen again, and boom, that's working absolutely fine. So now let's implement the sign in. I think we forgot that, and then let's move on to the Google authentication part. So here we're gonna take in the function. Let's define the function. Const sign in press is going to be equals to async function, and over here let's try to check if not is of loaded, then directly try to return. We need to get in all of these things. So const is loaded, comma sign in, comma set active is going to come from use sign in. Okay, so that's it as of now. So here I'm going to say try and then catch of error. I'm just going to say console.log error with that particular error. Within the try block, I'm going to say const sign in attempt is going to be equals to await. I'm going to say sign in dot create method. This in turn is going to take in the identifier, that is going to be your email address as well as the password. Okay, if your sign in attempt dot status, again the similar condition is going to be equals to complete, then the user is obviously logged in with the correct username and password. Then set the active session for the user. I'm going to say set active to be of session, then here it's going to be equals to your sign in attempt dot create session ID. That's it. Else over here I'm going to add in my conditions, these two conditions. Okay, save. Let's try to give this a try. So just try to directly give on press on the touchable opacity over here. I'm going to say on press, it's going to be equals to on sign in press. I'm going to say on sign in press. Okay, not on sign in press, just sign in press. Change that. Yeah, this is done. Let's try to give this a try. I'm going to try to log in with the same user ID and my password I gave previously, and then continue. You can actually add a loading indicator as well, and there you go, we are correctly logged in. You can actually check out the backend as well, I mean the users for my application. So there you go, my email is added over here. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it about this. Let's try to implement the Google sign-in. So for that, we're going to create a new file known as google signin.tsx. I'm going to say google signin.tsx rnfes. So this would come into the sign in screen over here. That is, let's say just below your sign up or just below your view. That is over here. I'm going to say Google sign in. Save. Let's try to log out. There you go, that button is being shown onto the screen. So I'm just going to add in my design for that, that is Google sign in, and we'll be implementing the functionality for it. Okay, so yeah, let's try to get in few things over here for the Google sign in.tsx. Initially, I'm going to say const loading, set loading is going to be equals to use state false. Next is for your error, I'm going to say const error set error is going to be equals to use state initially empty. Let's make use of square brackets over here. Okay, import touchable opacity, activity indicator, as well as the image. So I'll be sending over the entire code. You can have a look at the image link as well. Let's try to implement the function that is on Google sign in press. So I'm going to say const on Google sign in press is going to be equals to use callback. Import that from React. It's going to be a async function. Okay, save. Let's try to reload. For some reason the style is not being shown. Right, so now it's working fine because I had to make a change within my tailwind config.js file, because this is at the root level and the styles were not getting applied for that. So I just had to add in this particular line. That's the only thing. So now we're able to see the styles being applied, which is good. Let's come back to google.sign.tsx. Save. Yeah, so there is actually a nice little documentation given for implementing the OAuth login or authentication. You can just search for Clerk. You can search for this one, that is OAuth custom flow for authenticating with OAuth connections. Okay, you can actually make use of this particular documentation. So yes, initially they're using something known as the use warm-up browser functionality. Even we are going to implement that. So this basically preloads the browser for Android devices to reduce the authentication load time. So we're going to make use of that, and after that we're going to implement something similar to this. So let's try to add in initially the function that is use warm-up browser over here. So let's try to import use effect and web browser. So we need to basically import web browser from the Expo web browser. I'm going to say import star as web browser from Expo web browser. All right, this is done. The next step is we also need to install Expo linking. That's another package. I'm going to say Expo linking. Copy that and then add it over here. I'm going to say import star as linking from Expo linking. That's it. So here I'm going to say set loading to be of true, set error to be of an empty string. Have in your try as well as your catch block. So I'm going to say try and the catch block. So catch of error, you can directly say console.log error with that particular error message, and finally you can set it to be false, set loading to be of false. Okay, within the try block I'm going to say const create session id created session id comma set active is going to be equals to await start OAuth flow. Here we're going to pass in the redirect URL that is going to be equals to linking dot create URL of /. We need to implement the start OAuth flow method. I'm going to say const start OAuth flow is going to be equals to use OAuth from Clerk Expo. This in turn is going to take in the strategy. As you can see, we have all of the social providers. We're going to use the Google one. So copy this one, OAuth Google. That's it. So once that is done, you can actually check if at all there is a session ID created. If created session ID is true, then set the active state. Then I'm going to say await set active to be of session. It's going to be equals to created session ID. Okay, else I'm going to say set error to be of Google sign-in failed. Okay, that's it. Make that change over here. So let's try to save the file. Okay, so now let's try to implement this. So that's pretty much it for the implementation of Google sign-in. Let's try to call the function that is use warm-up browser. That is not done. Just going to say use warm-up browser. Save. Let's give this a try. Sign with Google, and there you go. Expo wants you to use google.com to sign in. Continue, and boom. So there you go. These are my accounts. Let's say the second account. Continue. So once it is done, there you go. We are coming correctly to the home screen. It's working absolutely fine. So that's it. You can actually check out the backend as well. You should be able to see the new user being created. Let's say my application. Yeah, just try to reload. The second user should be there over here. As you can see, this is the one. It's working fine. Let's try to log out now. Again, try to log in. Again, try to reload. So there you go. Again, it's showing the sign-in screen because there is no active session. So yes, that's it about this particular video. So we basically learned about how to implement the sign-in, sign-up using your email password as well as Google-based authentication. So if you find this interesting, please do the like button and do subscribe for more such content. So let's see you in the next video, and then thank you for watching.